So you guys just watched that video of Kobe pushing Pau Gasol to set the tone of leadership for his team in the Olympics. And that is what Chapter 1 is about. Chapter 1 is about setting the tone as the leader so that you can throw that first metaphorical punch and everybody else around you goes into attack mode. They go into an offensive mindset. So you want to set that tone. And you ever see it where there's two guys or two girls at a bar? Let's say there's two guys, for instance, and they're at a bar, they're at some other venue, and they're in each other's face, right? They're getting aggressive with each other, and they're kind of barking at each other's face a little bit. Maybe saliva is flying out their mouth. You're sitting there wondering to yourself, are you guys going to actually fight? Is someone going to throw a punch here? Or are you guys just going to bark in each other's faces like a couple shivering chihuahuas? Is someone going to do anything about this? Most of the time they bark in each other's face and they're like, what? And then they get separated by their friends and nothing happens. But the real killers who move in silence just clock the person. They just clock the person. There isn't any barking. It's just clocking. What is your version of metaphorically throwing the first punch? If there's one of those movies, James Bond movie or whatever, and there's a villain, and the villain puts the gun in the hero's head and goes, "Any last words?" That is not reality. They just shoot the guy. What is your metaphorical version of just clocking the guy right from the start, not wasting time? What is your version of that? How are you going to set the tone? So let's say you're in a business context. Let's say it's a networking event, and there's a very high-level person, a high-status person, a high-status business person, and maybe they're running the event, maybe they're the public speaker, but they're the figurehead of the networking event. You can tell that's the person you want to go talk to, you want to go connect with for your business. What you're going to find is that maybe your business buddies are all shying away. They're getting nervous. They're getting social anxiety, approach anxiety. They're not going to approach that person. You walked into that networking event, see exactly who you want to talk to, the leader, and you go attack that. You go straight in. You set the tone from the start. And what does this do to those around you? Those people who you attended the networking event with, now they're going to start socializing. They're going to start networking. They're going to start building connections because you got the ball rolling right away. You at least set the tone that this is what I'm here to do. I'm at the networking event to go to network with everybody and siphon off the individuals who have business value to offer from those who don't. So you set that tone right from the get-go. But that's just one small example. What is your metaphorical version of throwing the first punch and setting the tone for your business to where you do this and everybody's just a little bit on edge, like, whoa, this person's crazy. This person's a psycho. It's not that you're crazy or a psycho. You would do this all alone. They don't have to be watching you. If you were all alone in silence, you would still set the tone because you're a competitor, you're a leader, and that's just who you are. To them, it's a little bit weird because they're your follower or they're your employee or whatever it is. But it's not that it's weird. It's just that you made an utter commitment to constantly setting the tone from the get-go, from the start, for eternity. You made the commitment that you're going to do this every single time there's pressure. And that's the key. It can't be inconsistent. You always 100% of the time come through the gates swinging. And when you come through the gates swinging, people around you see that your followers see that, your employees see that, the people who work with you see that. The leader is really about that life. He's always on. He's always on, or she's always on. Every single time there's pressure, every single time there's a work session, every single time there's a competitive session, the leader comes through the gate swinging first. The leader throws the first punch. When there's pressure, or let's say there's an elephant in the room. Maybe you're in your boardroom and there's an elephant, metaphorical elephant in the room. There's a problem that needs to be addressed. You're the first one who directly addresses it. And what this does is it sets the tone for you as the leader. People around you feel your energy. They can feel the aggressive energy coming out of your pores. And this oftentimes this leads them to either rationalizing that you're crazy, but also getting inspired. This could also make them inspired. Why? Because they see the leader is really about that life. I should also get into that. I should also be about that life. And they see the leader is in an offensive mindset, not a defensive mindset. And this makes those who follow you go, wow, I need to shift from defense to offense as well. And then when they get into that attack mode, they get into that because it started with you setting the tone. It started with you being that person who walks into the room and saying, I'm not going to stand for derping. Everybody else is derping. If there's no leader to set the tone, the default is that everybody just derps. Nobody takes that first step. And this leads to a cascade of rationalizations and excuse making. Oh, let's just not go approach that person. We're at the networking event, but I promise we'll network tomorrow because I'm a little bit scared right now, or whatever the context is. We'll do it tomorrow. It breeds rationalizations. It breeds deferment of responsibility. It breeds pushing things off into the future. You setting the tone now shows everybody that no, we're here to get it now. We're here to attack now. And that's the key. Chapter 2 is about having a my way is the highway approach to the high performance standards that you set for people. But that starts with getting the right people on the bus to begin with. Because if you're a good leader, then you surround yourself with high performance individuals. And good leadership starts with not needing to have good leadership. Because if you already have people on your team who are holding themselves to the highest possible standards intrinsically, who are intrinsically motivated, who are intrinsically obsessed with accomplishment, then you don't even need to impose your leadership onto those people. You don't need to impose high performance standards onto those people. But nonetheless, you're going to want to set high performance standards for your organization so that you guys can accomplish world-class goals. And when you do this, you have to prove this to those individuals around you. You have to be the one that shows up first and leaves last. You have to have the most mental toughness. You have to have a fearlessness when it comes to challenge and insurmountable obstacles that are put in your way. And you have to show this through example. Show this with your results. Lead by example. Leadership starts at the head of the snake. It doesn't start in the middle of the snake. It all starts with you. So you set that tone to begin with. One of the big issues that gets in the way of high performance and gets in the way of high standards that you set for other people is when you get too buddy-buddy with people who you're trying to lead. You become their friend and you want their approval, you're trying to people please, all of this. If they want a friend, they can buy a hamster. If they want a friend, they can buy a goldfish. They can buy a rat. They can surround themselves with cats like a crazy cat lady. You're not here to be their friend. They're not here to be your friend. You're here to have an alliance towards something that's world class. You're here to have an alliance towards conquering your personal championships in business and in life. That's what actually matters. So if they think you're an intense asshole because of this, that's okay. They can think you're an intense asshole that gets results. You're going to be perceived in this way because you're looking for them as an alliance, not a friend. But also, when you're setting these high performance standards, it forces you to directly confront people when they mess up. You have to get comfortable with confrontation. Be comfortable with the feeling of confrontation, even if it makes you get a little bit of anxiety and you want your mommy to come wipe your tears. That's okay. Be comfortable with the confrontation because people are going to mess up. And if you hold in feelings of knowing you should have pointed something out and you didn't because you were being a wimp, then you're going to hold resentment inside of you. And when you hold resentment inside of you, it builds up and you're going to be forced to confront it anyway at the end of the day. Whether that means you have to fire that person or whether that person makes a ton of mistakes, whether that person simply doesn't hit the high performance standard or metrics that you have set, it leads to a downward spiral. So confrontation is good. I'm not saying you can't study healthy forms of confrontation, like crucial conversations, but the ability for direct confrontation is also important. Because if people are just offended by the mere fact that you pointed something out, then you probably don't have the right person. So be okay with confrontation. Whether these people like you or not is irrelevant. What matters is that you get results. Even if they drag them by their hair and they're kicking and screaming to get to the end zone, that is okay. Results equals respect. And men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. That's the saying, right? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So don't be concerned. Whether these people like you or not is irrelevant because you're going for world-class results. So even if you have to drag them by their hair and they're kicking and screaming all the way to the goal line, that's okay. Results speak for themselves. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. When you get results, that will equal respect. Results equals respect. Results equal respect. Everything else is irrelevant. And if they have a problem with being on the winning team, make it known to them that we are the winning team. We set the highest standard. Out of everybody, we will set the most intense and highest standard. And if you have a problem with that, then this isn't the team for you. You ought to be on the losing team. Go find some weenie to work for. Go find somewhere else to be average and mediocre. Go find somewhere else to spit in the face of your potential and spit in the face of God, because that's all you're good for. Rot, if that's what you're good for. Rot somewhere else. Go find somewhere else to rot. This is a place for thriving. This is a place for intensity. This is a place for being world class. This is a place for winning. So a healthy dollop of the my way is the highway approach does work, as long as you really, really cover that in the fact that this is a standard we're trying to set. We're not trying to set the my way is the highway approach just to be purely selfish. No, we're doing this because we all want to hit the highest standard in life and in business. Real killers move in silence and are aggressive with themselves. Real killers move in silence. They don't overspeak, and they set an aggressive standard for themselves before they set an aggressive standard for everybody else. So it's easy to set the tone so that you can inspire others around you. It's easy to punch Pau Gasol like Kobe and inspire everybody else around you and put them into an offensive headspace. It's also easy to have high performance standards and benchmarks for everybody else around you, but not for yourself. And as a leader, oftentimes your ego can squeeze into the back door, and you can think you're holier than thou. And then what happens is you set a high performance standard for everybody else, but not for yourself. So aggressive leadership really just start with being aggressive for yourself. And one of the biggest issues that will happen as a leader is to overpromise and underdeliver. And you do this because you become a blabbermouth. You become a blabbermouth because your ego kicks in. And when you overpromise and you underdeliver, people can see right through this, and you demoralize everybody in your company. So when you speak, your word must become law. Speak in a way that's succinct. Speak in a way that's focused. Speak in a way that you're clearly moving people forward to a positive outcome. And you must block your talk. Actually back up your talk with actual results, and back up your talk with the fact that you are willing to put your own neck on the line, not just them. When you do this, you wind up having very clear communication. When you blab on and blab on and blab on, you wind up ending up with rationalizations, which your staff can see through, reframing, which your staff can see through, and just general excuse making that your staff can see right through. You're not hiding anywhere. And when you do this, you're scrambling everybody's RAS around you. Their RAS should be focused on, oh, we're in this positive direction. We're moving towards a positive direction. We're moving towards world-class outcomes. But when you scramble their RAS because you blab and blab and blab and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and you can't shut up, you can't shut your pie hole, what happens is everybody's RAS gets scrambled and they get unfocused. They're very unclear on what they need to be doing because you're constantly speaking in circles. And not only are they unclear and unfocused, but they get demoralized. If you only speak the truth and you only point out what is essential, then you avoid this entire mess. The leader can't afford the hellish price of making rationalizations. Leaders who rationalize their poor business decisions tend to have very, very deep blind spots, deep, rotting blind spots. And they'll rationalize. They'll go, I'm behind on payroll this month because it was this person's problem in the company. Oh, I'm not on time because of traffic, and because, oh, it's okay if I'm not on time. It doesn't even matter. Oh, I'm shit-talking this staff member because I'm really actually trying to improve their behavior by shit-talking them behind their back to the rest of the staff, demoralizing everybody in the process. I haven't fired this poor performer because I'm sure they're going to get their shit together, even though they've never gotten their shit together. I don't think we need to have clear expectations for you if we're going to do a partnership, because that's not part of our company culture. Oh, I don't do a good job for the client because I was tired that day, so it's okay. I needed to rest myself. I needed to really get some active recovery in, so I didn't do a good job for the client that day. And if you actually look at this is nothing more than lies. Why don't you get a mirror and put it in front of your face and actually say it for what it is? I'm behind on payroll because I have low integrity. I shit talk staff member behind their back in front of everybody else because I have low integrity. I didn't do a good job for the client, not because I was tired, because I have low integrity. I can't put clear expectations down in writing for a business partnership because I have low integrity. I won't fire low performers in the company because I'm a wimp and I have low integrity. Face the facts of what it is that you're actually doing as a leader when you blab, blab, blab and make excuses for yourself. You're the one who needs to hold yourself to aggressive standards first before you set the tone for other people and before you try to hold them to high standards. If you have made any of these fundamental mistakes, you must own up to them because it will rot you out from the inside if you don't own up to them. And it will rot your organization out. It'll rot out your company culture. Everybody already sees you for what you are. Your staff can see that you rationalize. Your staff can see that you overpromise and underdeliver. Your staff can see that you reframe everything in your selfish desires and selfish favor. Your staff can see right through you. You were transparent the whole time. You weren't hiding from anybody. Just because they nod their head, when you walk into the room, doesn't mean a goddamn thing. You were naked and shivering in front of them the entire time. They could see right through you, and you can't reframe your way out of fundamental mistakes that you're making in your organization. You must make things very binary and objective in your mind. Either it got done or it didn't get done. Everything in between is a rationalization. Everything in between is talking in a circle, talking in a loop, a fairy tale reality that you're living in. You can't make any rationalizations. As I said, people can see right through it. If you're pointing out a problem objectively and fair, that's fine. You're pointing this out to your staff, that's fine. But any word uttered after you objectively pointing out the problem is literally going to be viewed as a rationalization, a reframe, and an excuse to your staff members. It'll come across as deeply, deeply annoying and deeply irritating. And you wonder, as the leader, why are people getting RES flips on me? Why can't I lead people properly? They see right through you. You either tell them, I got it done, or you didn't get it done. If you have to fire some negative partner in your business who's a leech, then you gotta just get it done. You can't talk about it. You can't make excuses about it. You have to just get it done. Cut the cancer out. Don't let people sit there are wondering what your next move is going to be as you keep moving the ball forward. And this goes for any issue in your organization. Don't keep moving the ball forward and kicking the ball down the road. You have to at some point own it. To them, anything you say about the problem other than fixing the problem means nothing. It's dog shit. You either got it done, you fixed the problem, or you didn't. Any other talk around that is a fairy tale that you're living in. So the first thing is you must put a sock in it, stop your blabbing. The second thing is you must back your talk up with actions and results. And the third thing is you have to give people a super succinct, clear direction moving forward. You can't rely on an employee's past successes, their loyalty to the company, and their enjoyment of benefits to guarantee that employees' retention throughout the entire duration of your company. You can't rely on that. If they don't see you doing what you're supposed to do, why should they do what they're supposed to do? It starts at the top. You're the common denominator here. You're the leader. You have to set the tone of what your company culture is to be in the future, and you got to stop blabbing. You got to stop deferring responsibility. You have to stop making rationalizations. And if you keep doing those things, that will lead to your company failing. That could even lead to bankruptcy. So that's what I want to leave you guys off with, and I'll see you guys in the next video.